everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for joining me this week. So this week I'm going to be talking about how to choose the right school for your child. I've been asked this question many times by different parents, and so if you're interested in hearing my thoughts, then please keep on watching. Okay, so this week I'm going to be talking about how do you choose the right school for your individual child? And I think there are so many different factors that you need to take into consideration. I get asked this question by my friends all the time. A lot of my friends are not actually in the education circle, so they always ask me for my opinion. And I always think that they expect me to give an answer like this school or that school. And I never give a recommendation for any particular school, to be honest, because it really depends on a variety of factors. And I'm going to start, first of all, with the first factor, the cultural background of the family. So what is your cultural background and identity? Do you actually want to join a school that has the same cultural background? And I'll give you an example. There are many international schools around the world. For example, there's American international schools, there are Canadian international schools, Australian international schools, Swiss German international schools, French international schools, Singapore international schools, even Singapore American international schools. So every single culture has their own education system. And I would say the first consideration is, what is your cultural identity? And do you want your children to go to a school that aligns with that cultural identity? That's the first question. But let's say you don't mind about the cultural identity, because a lot of international schools are very authentically international, where very often there's between 50 and 100 different diverse cultures, which I think is wonderful. I think it's wonderful for students to be exposed to diverse cultures and diverse students of different backgrounds. Let's say the cultural background of where you're from is not an important factor in you deciding the school for your child. Then the next factor that I would take into consideration are the languages. There are many schools around the world that actually have bilingual programs. For example, let's say it's French and English, or let's say it's Mandarin and English. But if you want your child to grow up multilingual or bilingual, then that would be actually a main consideration for you, to have a look at the school's curriculum, to look at the languages that are spoken. Many bilingual schools are 50%, 50%, where they have a teacher that speaks another language as well alongside with English, for example. And I think that's a great opportunity for children to be immersed in a language and to be multilingual and international citizens of the world. So if you have a language consideration that you think is important, then I would look at the language offerings of that school. So far, it's the cultural considerations, whether you want to maintain any kind of cultural alignment. Secondly, the languages spoken, is that important to you? And then I would say it's about the culture and philosophy of the school. So the third consideration would be looking at the culture and the philosophy of the school. And I always say to every single parent, shortlist a number of schools that you think would be suitable for your child, and then go and visit them if possible. If it's in another country, that's a bit challenging. I would probably still arrange a Zoom call with the school, but if possible, go and physically visit that school, because a lot of the time you'll go into the school, you'll get a feel of the school, the ethos, the atmosphere, the approach to teaching and learning. And I know from personal experience, a lot of the time you will know whether a school is a right fit for your child, because your child at the end of the day is an individual and they're going to flourish in different environments. It's not that there are good schools and bad schools, but there are schools that will be the right fit for your child, so that your child will be able to develop on an emotional, social level as well as an academic level. When my sons were choosing schools for boarding school, we actually shortlisted about 5 or 6 different boarding schools. We went up and down the country and we went to visit all of the schools and had a tour. And I can say that some of the schools we walked into, we said, no way is this going to be suitable for our sons. And they said it too. But the school that they eventually chose, we walked in and within the first 5 or 10 minutes, we knew this is the school. We all agreed as a family that this was the right fit. And my sons got to choose at the end of the day with our input. So they're the 3 factors that I think you need to consider when you're choosing a school for your child. Number 1, cultural identity. Number two, the languages that are offered and whether you want your child to be bilingual or multilingual. And three, look at the culture and philosophy of the school by visiting, either having a Zoom call if you're not able to visit physically, or go and visit the school and have a tour so that you can get a feel for the school. So there are my opinions about how to actually select a school for your child. It's not about naming this school or that school, because every child is going to flourish in a different situation and a different environment. And it's about finding the right fit for your child and the school. Thank you so much for joining me again this week, and I hope to see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.